Okay, let's talk about artificial intelligence in our schools. It is, without a doubt, one of the biggest, most talked about topics in education right now. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all the noise, look at what the experts are actually saying, and get a really clear picture of what's happening in the classroom today.
So here's the game plan. First, we'll look at where AI is already showing up. You might be surprised. Then we're going to dive into all the exciting potential, but we're also going to get real about the risks. And most importantly, we'll talk about the #1 rule for using AI safely and what this all means for the future.
You know, it's really easy to think of AI as something from a sci-fi movie, right? Some far-off thing. But the truth is, it's not coming. It's already here. It's woven into the apps and the devices our kids are using every single day.
Which brings up a pretty big question. We throw around the term AI all the time, but what are we actually talking about? To really get into it, we need a simple definition we can all get on board with. And the U.S. Department of Education gives us this perfectly simple one: automation based on associations. So think of it like this. AI systems get fed just massive amounts of information. Text, pictures, you name it. They learn to see patterns and connections, or associations, inside all that data. And then they use what they've learned to automate stuff, like answering a question or creating a picture.
And I guarantee you've already seen this in action. When a student uses ChatGPT to get some help on an essay, yep, that's AI. When they're talking to that My AI bot on Snapchat, that's AI too. Even things that feel kind of normal now, like asking Alexa a question or using Google Translate, it's all powered by that same basic idea.
Okay, so now that we've got a handle on what it is and where it is, let's talk about the good stuff. What's the incredible potential here? Why are so many educators genuinely excited about how this could change everything?
And just look at the potential impact. I mean, this is staggering. We're not talking about a tiny little bump in test scores. A major analysis found that students who used AI-powered learning tools gained the equivalent of 3 to 5 months of extra learning compared to their peers. That's a huge leap forward.
But that data has a really human side too. This isn't just about student performance. It's also about helping our teachers. As this director of digital learning pointed out, AI can take over some of the draining, time-consuming tasks. And you know what that does? It gives teachers their time back so they can do what only they can do: connect with kids one-on-one.
So, when you put it all together, the promise is a classroom that's way more personal, more creative, and more supportive for everyone. Imagine, AI can create a learning path for each individual student. It can open up a whole new world of creative projects beyond just writing an essay. It can be a 24/7 assistant for teachers, and it can give amazing customized support to students with disabilities. It just makes the whole thing more engaging.
But, and this is a really big but, this isn't the whole picture. This technology isn't some magic wand, and bringing it into schools means we have to face some very real challenges. We need to talk about the concerns that parents and teachers are right to have.
And right at the top of that list is something called algorithmic bias. So remember how AI learns from data? Well, what happens if that data is biased to begin with? If it reflects old prejudices or just leaves certain groups of people out? Well, the AI's decisions will be biased too. And that is a huge problem, because it could actually make existing inequalities in our schools even worse.
This quote from a curriculum director just hits the nail on the head. This is the real-world worry. When we use these tools, we have to keep asking ourselves, whose voice is this technology amplifying? And just as important, whose voice is it leaving out?
And the concerns don't stop with bias. We have to think about data privacy. How are we protecting our kids' information? There's the risk of a new kind of digital divide, where some kids get left behind if they don't have access. And what about over-relying on this stuff and forgetting to teach crucial social skills? Oh, and by the way, sometimes these AI systems can just be flat out wrong.
So you've got this amazing promise on one side and these really serious risks on the other. So what's the way forward? Well, it turns out that everyone, from the Department of Education to teachers in the classroom, they all agree on one single, non-negotiable principle.
And that brings us to this critical idea: human in the loop. Think of this as the ultimate safety feature. It's the one thing that lets us use all the good parts of AI while protecting us from the bad.
And here's what it means, plain and simple. AI can be a tool, it can be a co-pilot, it can be an assistant, but it can never, ever be the final decision maker. A teacher's judgment, their experience, their empathy, you can't turn that over to a computer program. The final call on a child's education has to be made by a person, period.
So, the Department of Education gives us a clear roadmap for how to make this happen. First, Teachers have to be involved from day one. These tools can't be mysterious black boxes. We have to be able to look under the hood and see how they work. They also need to be able to explain why they're making a suggestion, and most importantly, there always has to be a big off switch that lets a teacher say, nope, not doing that, and overrule the AI.
Look, this stuff is moving at lightning speed. It's easy to feel like we're all just trying to hang on for the ride. But that's not true. We aren't helpless here. The future of AI in our schools is something we can and we must build together with care and with intention.
So in the end, it all comes down to this core tension, right? For every amazing promise, like personalized learning, there's a serious risk, like algorithmic bias. For every gain in efficiency, there's a concern about data privacy. The solution isn't to throw the tool away. It's to use it responsibly, to lean into the good stuff while being incredibly careful about managing the bad.
And that leaves us with this final question. AI's here. It's powerful. There's no denying it. It's a tool that is going to shape education for generations. So the choice for all of us, for parents, for teachers, for school leaders, isn't if it will be used. The real question is, how will we guide it? How will we make sure it builds the future of learning that all our kids deserve? The conversation is just getting started.